my name is Rebecca, and in today's lesson we're going to learn a simple strategy that you can use in order to communicate more effectively with others and in a more diplomatic way with others, in a personal context or in a professional context. Okay? The way that you can do this is by avoiding the use of negative adjectives and replacing them with positive adjectives. So right now I understand that just sounds like a lot of grammar to you, so let me give you some specific examples so you will understand how to use this technique with others to communicate more effectively, to complain more effectively, and to be more diplomatic in your relationships with people in English. Okay? So let's go to the board. I've written an example of a personal situation where you might want to complain about something. So let's say that you go to a restaurant, you went to a restaurant and you were not at all happy. You were extremely dissatisfied with the situation. And afterwards you're going to talk to the manager about what happened. Now, it's true that you can use extreme words to describe the situation. But usually in English, in order to be more diplomatic, we start off by using milder words. Because if you use the extreme word right in the beginning, then what are you going to do after that? Or what are you going to say after that if you want to really express more emotion? There's kind of nowhere left for you to go. So we start off by explaining something in a bit of a mild way, and then if somebody doesn't accept our point of view or if an argument follows for some reason, then we can always fall back on slightly harsher words. But we try to avoid that whenever possible. So let's see how to do that. So you went to the restaurant, and the restaurant itself, the place was, for example, dirty. But instead of saying the restaurant was dirty, you use a slightly milder adjective and you say the place was not clean. The restaurant was not clean. You're using the word not very strategically here to express the same idea in a milder way. Let's suppose that the waiters were rude. So instead of saying your waiters were rude, you say your waiters were not polite. Okay? You see what I'm doing? Just using not and the opposite word, the positive adjective. So, the restaurant was not clean. The waiters were not polite. Let's look at another example. Let's say the service was slow. So you could say, the service was not efficient, right? Let's suppose that the food was cold. So we could say, the food was not hot. All right? So you see in this situation, by describing it with a positive adjective and not, you are able to complain in a much more diplomatic way, and it's possible that you will receive a more positive response, which hopefully is your intention when you're actually in a difficult situation. Usually when we complain, it's not just because we are venting or expressing our anger. Sometimes it is, but not usually. There is usually something more that we want, perhaps, in return as a result of our dissatisfaction. So in order to receive that, you want to be sure to not scare the other person away or embarrass the other person too much. You'd rather take a diplomatic approach so you can get what you want out of the situation. Okay? All right. So we're going to come back in just a minute, and then I'm going to show you an example of a business context in which you can do the same thing. All right? I'll be right back. Okay, so now let's take a business example of how we can be diplomatic using the word not instead of a harsher, more negative adjective. Okay? Just one second. Okay. So let's say that somebody offers to meet you at a certain time, but you find that time inconvenient. So instead of saying that time is inconvenient, you could say that time is not convenient. It sounds a little bit milder, it sounds a little bit more approachable. and more like you can solve the problem when you put it that way, okay? Let's say somebody has an idea at a meeting and you really think that idea is very stupid. But if you were to say that, of course that would create a lot of bad vibes between you and the other person. So instead of saying your idea is stupid, you could say, I don't think that idea is very smart because it may lead to some problems. So you're expressing the same basic thought, but in a more approachable manner, okay? Let's suppose somebody puts forward a proposal at a meeting, and you think that that proposal is really quite useless. But if you were to say that again, it would be difficult in terms of your relationships with others. So you might want to say, I find that proposal is not very useful. I think your proposal would not be very useful. Okay? See how we're changing it by using not plus a positive adjective. Alright? One last example. Let's say someone's approach to a problem, to a situation, you think is very negative. So instead of saying your approach is really negative, you could say, what? Your approach is not positive. I find that your approach is not very positive. Okay? This way, you're still being honest about what you feel and what you think. We're not asking you to lie about what you think. You should express your thoughts and your opinions, but you want to do it in a more diplomatic manner. Okay? So I wish you a lot of luck with that. If you'd like to review some of this or do a quiz, a free quiz on it, you could go to our website at www.ingvid.com. Thanks very much. We'll see you later. Bye.